Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Vitamin C Show. Today, I'm here again with my sister, Issa, and we're back to talk about sibling stuff. I'm talking unhinged sibling rivalry, information, things you would only experience if you had a sibling. And I specifically wanted to film this actually because my friend Katie is an only child, and when I tell her any of this stuff, she doesn't understand. She thinks it's actually very humorous to watch me and my sister do anything. Do you have any friends that are only children?
I mean, not like off the top of my head, not even.
Most
Not
people
my
have a
close
sibling.
friends. Yeah, literally. I don't really know any like people who are just like only child, I would think.
Okay, well, with that being said, I guess we'll start off with what I like to call older versus younger sibling syndrome. What do I mean by this? What I mean by this is these are traits that a lot of younger siblings possess and a lot of older siblings possess that are like universal almost just because of the way that your parents treated you because of the order in which you were born. So,
Which, mind you, I had no control
me
over.
neither, dog. Okay, anyway, I feel like this video is gonna end in a fight. But it's okay. So I'd say my first take for little sibling syndrome is little siblings don't know how to do anything on their own. Like you already rolling your eyes, but guess who's the one the 911 call? Me. If she needs to learn how to clean the bathroom, do a payment, budget, apply for things, I'm the person she be like, I'm the one that knows the answers. Meanwhile, I had to figure out these same things when I was her age, but there was no one to ask that was older than me. Little siblings just like, I don't know. So, what's your opinion on this? And then what's your older sibling take? An older sibling take.
Okay, my take on this is like when I don't know how to do something, because it's not that I don't know how to do anything. Like, I think you're over exaggerating when I say that. It's not that I don't know how to do anything. It's that, when I know how to do something, I'll do it myself. And when I don't know how to do something, like, I'll try to go to my parents first to help. But if you're there and you've done it, like, I'm sorry, like, our parents, especially if it's something regarding technology, my parents, like, love them, they're not gonna help. Like, they're not.
You're just not tech savvy.
Someone who's already, like, done it, like, yeah, I'm gonna ask you for help because you probably have a higher success rate than my parents. In terms of, like, an older sibling issue, older siblings just fucking have a god complex. Like, they just do. They actually, like...
Best.
No. Like, tell me how bad it has to get for her to walk around the house saying she's a purebred as if we live in a den of wolves. Like,
because I'm the firstborn. I'm a purebred.
We are not wolves!
I would be considered royalty, and Issa would be considered the bastard.
What?
Well, that's actually not true.
This is what I mean. God complex.
Both of our parents are... They would both have to be royalty for both of us to be considered royals.
Regardless, you're not even my half-sister. We share the same
Have you ever
parents.
thought that maybe we have this, quote, God complex because we earned it?
By what?
By doing stuff by ourselves and succeeding.
So I'm a failure.
Like,
Bro literally saying, haven't you ever thought why I'm amazing? It's because I've done things, I've succeeded, as if I've done, like, nothing.
Whatever.
It's not even like that, bro. Older siblings have a god complex.
Okay. Another younger sibling take, and this has to do with how the parents specifically, and not necessarily, like, just because you're a younger sibling, but parents treat the younger sibling different.
I agree with
Issa
that.
has been allowed to do things that I was never allowed to do at the same age she was. Likewise, though, at the same time, she was allowed to do more things, but at the same time, they also, like, kind of cared less about certain things because they were just, like, been there, done that, essentially. And, like, they already did the trial run with the guinea pig. And if it went badly, then they have a certain like opinion about how it should be dealt with again. But if it didn't go badly the first time, then it's just like they don't care the second time around.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. Like, there are just some things that they just did do differently with
and
me.
I think that's so unfair and annoying because it's just like, well, why are the rules different for them than they were for me? And it
'Cause
just
I'm
has
better.
to do with the fact it just has to do with the fact that they didn't know what they were doing with me, but now all of a sudden they know what they're doing with her. So, and I can literally say so many things that they allowed Issa to do that they didn't allow me, and I'm just like, I literally get so mad. I have to ignore it because I'm just like, whatever. I ain't no parent, although I kind of am. Single mother syndrome. That's a whole other thing. Okay, go.
Like, take for siblings on my end. I guess indirectly, like, everything you did first, whether it was a success as you called it earlier, because I'm the first to succeed, or a fuck up, had an implication on me. I don't even remember, like, a long time ago, you did something that prompted mom to say, like, oh, no social media till you're 13. Because she did that, I wasn't allowed to have social media till I was 13. I mean, I didn't really care, but, like, the point is, I did nothing, but I got, like, punished for it because she fucked up first. It's like, you're not perfect.
I left a legacy.
No.
Whether that was like a negative one or
you
a
left
positive
a
one.
negative impact. Or, and this one isn't as big. It was something we talked about, like, in the last episode I was in, like, with teachers. If my sister, like, if that teacher liked her, then they had good expectations for me. But if they didn't, I didn't have to do anything for it to be considered treason. Like, they just didn't like me, and they knew it, and I just had to sit with that the whole year. Pretty much. No, because, like, it literally doesn't affect you at all. Because once you leave, you never see them again. But I literally have to go through that shit.
Was that
for doing nothing.
I don't
even
think
it's your fault.
No, because here's the thing. I don't even think we look alike. I mean, y'all could be a judge of that. Like,
but
I feel
it
like
has nothing to do with that. They know we're siblings.
No, but they know we're siblings because they think we look alike, not because they fucking researched our permanent record and decided who are the Mercado spawns.
That,
like,
spawns is crazy.
Okay, so now let's move on to pros and cons. Pro of being the older sibling is there is a high degree of independence you learn being the older sibling. And that's just because of the nature of the fact that you're the first and there's no one else that came before you. And if your parents don't know what they're doing, guess what? You're going to have to figure it out. That's literally it. So pro is that as an older sibling, you end up being more independent, learning more skills to be independent. And I think in summary, you're more resourceful because of it. Because when you're independent, it forces you to be resourceful and actually figure things out without the help of others because that's how you grew up. I think the biggest con I would say is that treatment aspect. Oh, no, actually, I changed my mind. Biggest con is the expectation. The expectation that you should be doing better because you're the older one. Oh, we expect you to do this better. Comes with so many expectations and I will say it's never enough. It's never enough. It doesn't matter if you exceed these expectations. It's just never enough as far as like what parents expect of you, and because you're the oldest, because you're supposed to know everything, apparently. You're supposed to be the most resourceful one and know how to figure everything else out. And God forbid that you need help as the older sibling because you're supposed to know everything. Not gonna lie and say, like, if I asked my parents for advice, they would give it to me. But there's certain things that, like, that my mom wouldn't help me with and maybe my dad wouldn't, vice versa. But more than likely, they're gonna look at me with a strange face being like, well, you can figure it out. They don't do that with Issa. They're just like, the baby needs help. So I think that's my biggest con. So what's your pros and cons for being a younger sibling?
I would definitely say a pro is, like, the freedom. And like you said earlier, I think this had a large part to do with the fact that, especially after the pandemic, like, I don't know what happened, but I feel like my mom just cared less and less in terms of like, I don't know, like things that she was maybe on you about, like she wasn't on me about that much.
I don't think that had anything to do with the pandemic, though.
But
I
like
think it
when
actually
you,
had to do with the older younger sibling thing.
yeah, but also like I feel like when you graduated, like there was like a slight shift. I don't know, but anyway, I do think
Because I was an adult already.
yeah, I do think as the younger sibling, like you do get more freedom. There, my mom was definitely more lenient with me than with her. A con, and probably the biggest con, is like you have no voice. Like you actually, you one, everyone thinks you're incapable of doing anything. Like I love my parents, but like especially my dad, like I feel like sometimes he actually still thinks I can't do anything and I'm 18 years old. So yeah, like I feel like I get
Like, I
treated
remember
like,
when I still went to my weekends with Dad. Speaking of, do you still go? Because like
I
you
haven't gone
haven't.
for a little bit. I still like I still visit him.
Okay, well,
But
yeah, no, I just haven't noticed that. But anyway, I remember like not too long ago, like I was in still, I'm in my 20s now, so still in my 20s, I would go, and if there was something that Issa was like doing or even just checking out, it didn't even have to be the most serious thing. He'd be like, "Vete, ayúdala." Go,
yeah,
go help
like,
her. Help her with what, dog?
And I didn't need help either. Like plot twist.
No, it'd be like help her putting on a shirt or like making eggs or something.
Yeah, like it was something that I just didn't need help
Oh,
with. But
like your hair? Bro, your hair. He expects me to help you. Whenever Issa has anything, he's like, bendito, ayúdala con el pelo. Ayúdala.
Yeah,
like basically, that
and I
means
didn't
like
need
help
help
her
either.
do her hair in any event. I'm like, she's gonna be 19 next year. I think she
No,
can do her hair.
Exactly. So like I feel like there's this expectation that you don't like, that you just can't do anything. And then another one, probably I'd say the biggest one, is like no matter what your opinion is, you're fucked.
Wrong.
No, because you're gonna get no. Because you're actually gonna get tag teamed by every member of the family for giving your input. Let me tell you something. If you, especially if it's a sibling thing, if I agreed with Gabby or if I liked something that she liked, I was copying her. But if like we were talking about doing something and I had my own opinion, like something different, not copying, like, oh, I think we should do this instead. Stop being so difficult. Like, genuinely, it does not matter what you say. If you agree with them, you're a follower and you're a copycat, and I want to be you so bad because that just contributes to the God complex. And if I disagree, oh, you're the youngest. What would you understand? You're so difficult. You're just trying to sound like there's actually no winning. And a lot of the times now, I'm quiet. I don't say shit because, like, genuinely, it's like,
yeah, Issa watches the raindrops on the windows and watches them race.
yeah. If they're talking about what to think or where to go, especially like you and Dad, because you guys are both pretty similar. You're like talking about where to go or what to do, but like Dad, for example, he already knows where he wants to go and do. So I'm just like, I don't even want to talk in this conversation.
I have a love-hate relationship with my father because of the things that he did to me growing up, but at the same time, there's so many things that we are similar of, so that if I don't see him in a while and then I see him once, we usually have a good time because I don't have to deal with him on a daily basis. But those days where I do see him randomly, we're almost always on the same wavelength. Like, we're thinking the exact same thing and the same way that it should be done. And so we get along in those moments and we can, like, have a laugh about it because the way he's thinking about something makes sense to me, or it's how I would do it. Mm-hmm. But I do have that love-hate relationship because it's like, I don't know, for me, whenever I have a good time with him, I, like, later on remember the things that he did. And I'm not going to talk about it here, but it's just very difficult for me to love him fully and also hate him fully. It's like I don't know. I'm like in this weird limbo place with him. But
yeah.
Okay. So then let's just move on to things only siblings can understand. I know we have silent fights as one of them that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
My longest silent fight with Issa, I think it was recent. It was something after Georgia. But I can't remember why.
I remember what it was. It was so every Thanksgiving.
I was very upset though.
Every Thanksgiving we go to Georgia. And one of the days that we were there, we went to, I don't even remember like the exact name of the place. I think it was some kind of like botanical garden, but we went with our family. And it was freezing.
Oh, I remember now.
It was freezing, and I had a pair of gloves. And the thing is, I really, because out of the two of us, I'm the more compassionate one. She doesn't give a fuck, but whatever. So I had a pair of gloves on. It was really cold. And my sister, like, she just gets cold. Like, we can be in this room-controlled temperature environment, and she'll be wearing a jacket. So my sister was really cold, and she didn't have a pair of gloves. And I was like,
and mind you, the pair of gloves was not Issa's. It was our aunt's. Okay?
But the thing was, I was cold too for a different reason, because I didn't have as heavy of a jacket as anyone else did. So I had these gloves, but I was like, I had been wearing them enough to the point where I was like, you know what, it's fine, I'll lend them to you. So she said she was cold, and I said, do you want to wear my gloves? So I said, like, she said, yes, I give them to her, and I said, just give them back to me, before we get on. We were going on this, oh my god.
That fucking train from hell,
yeah.
actually.
We were going on this train right afterwards.
Bro, that train really was going nowhere near the Christmas town, North Pole. That shit was going straight to Satan's gate.
Yeah.
It was all an illusion of the Antichrist. No. Because it was the worst thing ever. If you come from Disney and you're used to the spectacles here, that was train from Dollar General. Like there was basically these like Christmas lights and sounds, and the train would take you through. It was like 30 minutes through the woods. And then every few yards, you would see a light fixture of, like, a Christmas thing.
But the irony was, like, somewhere amidst of that, when you thought it was the end, because it was heading towards the gate of the exit of the botanical garden, it, like, slowly turned into, like,
and everyone was like,
trail.
No!
Everyone was like, oh, mind you, like, 15 degrees. Like,
it was freezing, and
freezing
nobody
outside.
On that train wanted to be on the train. That's what was the funniest part. The guy behind us, too, was so funny, but I can't remember the things he was saying. Oh, like, okay, so they were the train itself was supposed to mimic this horse named Snowball. And, like, at one point, you know, there's, like, an audio playing of Snowball's like, let's go on, Snowball, like, let's keep going on this train. And then the guy behind me, super country accent, because we're, like, super south of Georgia, and, like, not south, but, like, North Georgia, where it's, like, even more country. And he goes, Snowball ain't going fast enough. You better kick up speed, Snowball. And it was so funny. And then at one point, we saw the other train going to start the ride. And he goes, they don't know what they're in for. Anyway, Boyd, I'll finish the fucking story. Point of the story is at one point, Issa wanted her goddamn gloves back. And I didn't want to give them back because I was cool.
But she said she'd give them back.
But the thing is, when I gave them back, Issa decides she is the only one in this sibling that would ever start a physical fight. And I will say that I wasn't mad about the fact that she started a physical fight with me because she's done it before. I was mad that she started a physical fight in public. That's where I draw the fucking line. Because one, it's embarrassing as fuck. And two, I don't like seeing other people do it out in public. So I was more like, if you want to fucking pull my hair in the car or when we get home, fine. Like, I would laugh, actually. I think it's so fun. But in public, that was the first time that she'd ever done it in public. And that's what pissed me off. And she did it so much to the point, she started yanking my hair, beating me up. People started watching. And then our grandfather was like, hey, like, what's going on? Break up the fight. And then my mom was upset. Then Issa starts crying. And like, and then my mom's like, deja el drama. Like, basically, stop the drama or stop crying, whatever. And then at this point, she approached me physically 3 or 4 times. I was so embarrassed by the fact because I was not attacking Issa at all physically. I just didn't want to give her the gloves. She was the only one that was like inciting this. And for the rest of the trip, and you also attacked me on the train itself.
That part was different because let me tell you all what happened there. I had my headphones in. I had like a noise canceling.
I would do a number on you.
It is not even like that. I had these noise canceling beats on, so when we were sitting on this train, mind you, she knows I'm upset at her, so I don't know why.
But you don't have to react like that, like what you did.
But no, here's what happened. So we're all sitting on this like train thing, and I have these headphones and cannot hear anything that's going on around me. And at this point, like,
which first of all, why the fuck you got your headphones on a damn Christmas train?
Because I didn't want to hear Snowball and his stupidity. That's fucking why. And you know what? I have zero regrets. But anyway, I'm sitting and I'm looking in the complete like opposite direction, and one didn't know why she was trying to talk to me, but she ends up basically like pulling my earbuds, and so I got scared.
I literally the only thing,
and I like flinched, and I did hit her. Like,
and that was so fucked up because all I wanted to tell her, I asked Mom how long the thing was, and she was like 30 minutes to an hour. And I looked at her and I was like, and then Mom started laughing because, mind you, we were the only ones without blankets on this whole damn train, and it was gonna be so cold that people who had done this train thing before had done so with blankets. And so all I went to do, I wasn't starting anything. All I went to do was tell Issa, like, Mom, this is gonna last 30 minutes to an hour. And instead I got met with this. I was so mad. And that third time made my blood boil. Because I started cursing her out on the train. And there was like 2-year-old, 5-year-old right in front of us. I was like, no. So then the rest of the trip, I didn't talk to her. Actually, I didn't talk to her for like, even when we got back. I was so mad about it.
For like a month.
That's not true.
Like, it was a while.
Like a week or 2 weeks. Probably that's for sure. It was the longest silent fight I've ever had with her because I was so embarrassed by the public thing. Not like, again, not necessarily her hitting me, not her being upset. It was just the fact that it was all in public and that there were so many people around. Like, I'm one of those people, like, if you have a quarrel with me, let's take it outside.
He was outside.
No, he was outside with everyone else. We weren't like bad baby next to the dumpster. Catch me outside. How about that? No, we weren't. She just wanted to do everything there. Anyway, that's the story. That's an example of a silent fight that we've had, but it's basically just there's times where you just don't talk to each other, but you're not necessarily physically fighting. You're just ignoring that person. And mind you, I will say, I don't hold grudges like that. I was very, very, very upset for me to not talk to her for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long it was. For the most part, it's like I'll be upset with you maybe one day, and then the next day I'll be like, okay, like I don't prolong it. Next thing we have that things only siblings understand are inside jokes. Well, I guess not only siblings understand that, but there are inside jokes that siblings have that I think are extra funny because the parents don't understand it, but you both do. Yeah. I'm trying to think of an example of that with like Mom. Actually, there's so many because she's not on our side of TikTok anyway. Like, we'll be married in here in the suburbs.
Yeah, like we'll just be like screaming all these like
SpongeBob references.
SpongeBob references and like TikTok jokes and Benson Boone and
Moonbeam ice cream.
Yeah, that's an atrocity. That should be taken down. But like, if my mom was like, our mom would be like, "De qué tú hablas? What are you doing? Like, qué tú haces?" You should just try to watch TV, and we're like, "Moonbeam ice cream," and she's like, "Yeah, I know."
Or Feliz cumpleaños.
Yeah, literally.
It's like we're saying all this and you don't know what it means, but we saw someone and then we got this inside joke and then we're on the same page.
And then sometimes we just like say it at the exact same time with like zero.
Yes, which actually I actually don't know if this is a sibling thing, but I will say that me and my sister have insane telepathy as far as like we say a lot of things at the same time, and I actually have a list on my phone of all it has over 30 entries where I put what we said at the same time and the date, and this spans back to like 2020. Like where we're silent and we say things at the same time. So I don't know if that's like a sibling thing or it's just like a us thing. I know that it's a common thing amongst twins,
Yeah.
but the last thing I have is the tag teaming and the ganging up on a parent.
Okay, well, this is just a sibling thing because siblings, whether you're older or younger, they share the same perspective of like we're still your children. Whether
We still go through the same expectations, the same punishment, we're still conversing with the same person if we have a problem with our mom or dad or grandparents, whatever.
Mhm.
And because we share the frustration because it's the same people we're dealing with. It's not like it's not like me versus my friend's parents. Like they're not my problem, you know what I mean?
No, like in the eyes of in the eyes of just our parents, like we're equal. And there are just things that like I love my parents, but there's just things that both of them have that are very unserious, and we just joke about it because like they're crazy sometimes. Like I love them, but like both of them just have their things that we make fun
Like
of.
I'll do an example, since Mom, if you're listening to this, don't say I didn't talk about Dad. We're gonna give this example about Dad. The day that we were in the car and he was talking about like the earth being flat or or Satan, say like music being satanic.
He's like,
and
no, Taylor
Lisa and I just looked at each other
Satan.
like. And then I think at one point we started. The thing about my dad though is he's low key a narcissist, so he is gonna think that he's right no matter what, and we can gang up on him.
You can't sway him.
You can't. So we could literally say, Dad, you are insane. Like
he's
what
like, no, pero it's the truth. Mira, and we're like, so you think
and
you
his
live in the
evidence
truth?
is always gonna be an Instagram reel. Okay?
No, and he's like an AI generated, like, no. And I'm like, so you think we live in the Truman Show? He's like, well, of course. He says it with the utmost confidence. And so it's like,
bro,
you're crazy.
He
like,
falls,
you're insane.
he falls under the victim of like boomers where they like watch a very clearly AI generated, like that TikTok I sent you, and they go like, it's like an AI generated video of these shrimp in the ocean having a family and whatever.
Oh,
and then
they form Jesus and like,
and then they
would you look at that? They shrimps all came together to form Jesus. God bless.
And then you're like, that's clearly AI generated. Like, Dad would be like, no, that's a miracle.
No, pero
Sign
that's
of life.
God's work. No, that's ChatGPT's work.
Like, so there are a lot of times where they'll say things and we're just like, moms, for example, would be memory loss.
Oh,
When she completely forgets that something happens to the point where when both of us are like, we were there, this happened, and she'll say, you're gaslighting
the thing
me.
is, like,
she'll say we're
the thing is,
gaslighting
like,
her. And I'm
multiple
like,
people will agree on one thing, but because mom didn't remember it, fuck, it didn't happen. Like,
but it never
like,
happened. Matter of fact, you weren't there.
I was like, actually, I don't remember you being there, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's always the crazy stuff. Sometimes I'll like, and my memory's not, Issa has the way better memory than like me or Mom, but sometimes I'll clearly remember something and Mom's like, no, yeah. Like,
No,
that didn't happen like that, or no, I wasn't there. I'm like,
there was one
crazy?
time, and I will admit, it felt good to like send all these receipts back to Mom. It was something regarding like I asked her a really long time ago to pay like a small fee for a club I was in, and that fee had a due date. So I would text her and I would send her the link, be like, okay, can you pay it by this day? And my mom just doesn't answer calls or like texts. So I sent it to her and she receives it and she sees it, and then I guess she just wouldn't do anything when she saw it. And then over the span of like 3 months, I sent her that message maybe like 4 or 5 times, all asking the same thing. And then the day before it's due, I finally, like, I'm like, hey Mom, I really need you, because I was so like, I was kind of panicking about it because I wouldn't have gotten like one of my cords for graduation. I'm like, hey Mom, I really need you to pay like this fee for my club. And she acted like she had never seen. She's like, first of all, I don't know why you're getting so upset, because it's my first time hearing about it, and I'm petty, so I scrolled up months worth of text messages and I screenshotted every single time that I had asked her and I sent those to her as a response to that statement.
Crazy tough.
And she apologized. I felt bad, but I felt good at the same time. I'm not gonna lie, because it's like, no, bro, like it did happen. Also, sorry, but I was thinking about what we were saying about Dad being a flat earther. I was gonna ask you if you've seen this video of the guy who's a flat earther, and he's trying to prove that the Earth is flat with like light and bending and refraction. And he's like, okay, he builds this whole experiment. He's like, if the light,
and then it proves that it's a dome.
Yeah, he's like, if the light goes straight, the Earth is flat. If the light bends, we live in a globe, or whatever people say. And then it like bends, and then he like starts shaking. He's like,
bruh. And Dad is gonna watch and be like, I
No.
never saw it. I never saw it.
He's like, no, but it is straight. I'm like, no,
He's
it ain't.
insane. Yeah.
But-
Honestly, at this
yeah.
point, I think it's rage bait. I don't know. But anyway. And now we're gonna play a game called Guess the Memory, which is kind of what we were doing, is just sharing like memories that we had as siblings, but apparently these are memories, most of them Issa remembered, and I'm just like now remembering them. So you had your first one was something about me convincing you to go on Everest, which I feel like has happened multiple times, which is why I don't remember.
A universal experience, at least I want to think it is that like when you're really little and you're naive, you think that your older sibling's word is like meaningful, like really meaningful.
Because it is.
No, it's not. But anyway, when I was really little, I'm still not like the best with roller coasters, but I can do everything at Disney. So we went to Animal Kingdom one time, and I did not want to get on the Expedition Everest ride. I was scared. I didn't.
She's
like
just scared
the
of
jump.
any
I
roller
thought it was-
coaster.
I thought it was scary. And I was probably like 9, 10, which means my sister was like 14 or 15. So if you've ever been to Disney, you know that like when you get in line for a ride, the line is really long. So the ride may be like here, but the line starts for it like a lot farther away. And I don't think I'd really ever been to Animal Kingdom up until that day. So my sister, like, I was really scared, and I made it very clear that I did not want to get on this ride. And my sister is like, oh, let's get in line for that ride. And the thing is, I didn't even know what the ride was called. So I was like, I just kind of followed her everywhere.
Wait, I said...
Yeah, she's like, let's go in line for this ride. No, this isn't the Scary Mountain ride. It's not this. And-
Wait, there's no way I successfully...
And I was like, are you sure? Because the line started so far away that it could have been believable, to be honest. So I was like, wait, it's not? She's like, no, it's not. This is a different ride. Okay. So I waited in the line, and then I start, like, in the back of my head, I'm, like, feeling a little panicked, because when we get to the front of the line, I see, like, the little mine cart to get in, and I'm like, that looks like the mountain ride. But that looks like Expedition Everest, but okay. So we get in, and if you've ever been on that ride, the beginning of the ride really is calm. You like go in like a little mine cart, and there's like a little hill, but nothing scary. And then we ascended. And all I remember was when you go up, you look to your right, and you see the group prior to you going down the big drop.
The drop, yeah.
So we go up, and the ride is like 2-seater. My sister, sitting next to me, she turns to me. Guess what? I lied. And now we're gonna go into the big drop ride.
The way I don't remember this at all.
To say I felt diddled was an understatement. I had never felt so deep.
Betrayal.
I start crying. I start sobbing on the ride. I'm like, oh my god.
And because I'm a sadist, I probably thought that was so funny.
No, you were laughing the entire time. She didn't care. She didn't give a shit. I was crying. And then, if you've ever been on Expedition Everest, also didn't help. That part where the track is broken, probably the worst introduction to a ride.
I was like, uh-oh.
I could have asked for, like, oh, well, bummer.
It's broke.
We might just die. We were cooked. I was cooked. And then we did the drop. I was screaming and crying, but whatever. I got over
go
it.
in reverse.
I was fine after the fact, but the anxiety I felt because she said that to me as we were going up the mountain, which was probably the worst timing. So that was really traumatic, and
I don't
really
remember
scary.
this at all.
Of course you don't.
But
it was a staple in my life. It haunts me. I was afraid.
I don't remember it, but I think I don't remember not because of that. It's because I've been on that ride so many times, and I've been on it both with you and other people that I would not have remembered this specific thing. You know what's crazy though? How stupid you gotta be to be like, this isn't the ride when it's literally right in front of the mountain.
I was 9.
9 and counting. So,
but yeah, that was really dramatic.
The next story we have is, I guess we could tell the DoorDash creepy baby one because that one's shorter than the other one.
Okay,
Here, wait, I'll tell this one. We were, because it's literally a long story short. One day we were door dashing, and this was in 2020 or 2021, and your girl needed cash, and I didn't have a job, so I door dashed. But at this time, I was afraid to do it alone because I would only do the night shift. So Issa came with me one night, and if you've ever done DoorDash, you know how miserable it is to get an order in an apartment complex because it's so hard to find the freaking apartment. It'd be especially at night. So it'll be apartment 989, and you're looking all over in the dark for where that number is. But then on top of that, you still have to go to the right floor and the right door, and some of them are gated, and some of them are just straight confusing. And so we were delivering to an apartment, and we did get lost in this neighborhood. We were looking for it, and at one point, I think it
was after you dropped off the food and we were leaving.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, no, we didn't get lost there. We got lost beforehand trying to find it because what I remember happening was, I think the person who ordered the food knew that we were lost because they ended up coming down to get the food.
Yeah,
so we never actually went up the stairs and gave it to them. She realized that we were lost and then waited for us outside in front of the building. Yeah. We give her the food. She leaves. I get in my car, whatever. I think for whatever reason, I turned off my lights when I parked the car to give her the food. So when I get back in my car, I literally remember it was watching The Shining or The Exorcism. I get in my car, I turn on the light, and literally from one car to the next, crossing the street,
a naked
freaking naked baby. Just running across the street. And what do I mean by naked? I mean, they're in nothing but diapers. I was about to call Child Protective Services on them, but it was creepy because it's pitch black, and then I go, ding, light turns on, crosses from one side of the road to another. Baby with literally nothing but a diaper on, so the baby looked honestly it could not have been more than 4 years old.
Yeah. It was walking just fine.
It was like a toddler. And I was scared. I was confused because we were looking around to see where the parents were, and I don't think we saw it. And then our dumbasses just left. Not our problem. But
that baby's probably 8, 9 now.
Yeah, actually, that's actually crazy. But no, I thought I was looking around to see if I saw any parents, and I thought about calling Child Protective Services because I'm like, what is this baby doing out here in the night in diapers? But I thought that, okay, if the baby's like that, there has to be a parent nearby. But at the same time, now that I think about it, that was why didn't we investigate further?
Maybe it's it could be a trap. Baby trapping.
You mean to kidnap you?
Yeah, literally.
Oh, fuck that. we just felt really unsafe, so we just left. But Issa was with me for that, and she saw this all happen, and we thought it was so funny.
Different iteration of this story. I don't think I've ever told you this story, but if you ask Mom, she was there. This one day, Mom was picking me up after a all county rehearsal, and it was nighttime at this point, raining really hard, and the fastest route to get through our house is this road called Nova Road. And it's this long road of just countryside, literally just woods. Maybe there's a house every 10 miles or so.
Why'd you take Nova Road?
Because the all county rehearsal was in a different high school.
Oh, okay.
So Nova Road was just the fastest.
Yeah.
It was, and the thing is, Nova Road doesn't have any lights, So like it's really dark if you're
Yeah.
driving at night, and it was raining really hard that night. Whatever. I cannot make this up, and if you tell mom, she will confirm. Me and my mom are just driving down this road with with her brights on. It was raining really hard nighttime. There's this woman just standing on the side of the road. She had a veil over her head. I cannot make this up. It was really scary. And she was standing on the side of the road, so we just drove past her, and mom was like, "What the hell was that?" I was
Like, did she slow down when she saw the lady?
"No," because the thing about the road is like, because it's just like forest, really.
What if
When
it was
you
a
get
spirit?
when you don't say that.
I mean,
When you get closer,
seriously
like
though.
it's pitch black until you get closer. So like we really didn't see her at first until we just got close enough with the lights.
What else was she wearing? Was
I
it
don't
all
even
white?
remember.
Was it
Like
like all
I
black?
just remember there being like something over her head, which I kind of maybe chalked up to the fact it was raining. But she was just standing there. She wasn't even walking on the side of the road. There's no sidewalk either. Like she was
No,
just
yeah, I
standing
know the road.
where the grass is. It was really scary, but I don't know. That just reminded me of that, and it was
That is
really
creepy as
scary.
hell.
Yeah, no, it was
You know
really
what I think
scary.
about those? Like, I think I'm asking, was it a spirit? Because I mean, I believe in the supernatural, and I also believe in spirits, and just given the setting of the road, like I'm gonna tell you right now, there's no houses in this area. Like there are, but it's like miles and miles between one house and the next house, and most of the houses are farms. Like it's not actually farms. So like wherever she came from, that's why I'm wondering. I'm like, if she was wearing all white or anything. Oh hell no. And she wasn't like holding her arm out to like hitchhike or
No.
anything. Oh,
Just standing there. Super scary. But anyway, what was the next story you had? Okay, so one day we impulsively went to Disney because I had 2 park hopper passes. So this was during the time that the Guardians of the Galaxy ride had the virtual queue that you had to get on. Now, because this was a spur of the moment like trip, we went last minute.
so we didn't
So-
actually sign up for the queue at all because we couldn't. We weren't in the park.
Exactly. Now, we still wanted to go on the ride, so we wanted to see if like
And mind you, this was my first time going on the ride, but not Issa's first time.
right, and I was gassing it up really hard. Like I really wanted to go on this ride. So I'm like, let's go to like customer relations, see if they can do something. And then there's this guy who's like, we get to Epcot. There's this guy who's working in the Guardians ride. He's like, I can't guarantee it, but if you come like when the park closes, sometimes we just let extra people in. So
Like he literally said, and I quote, like 5 minutes before the park closed. Like I'm talking, the park closes at 9. You gotta be here at 8:55. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
So because we have park hoppers, we're like, okay, we'll go to the other parks during the day, and then at night we will come back to Epcot, do some stuff, wait till the park closes, then we'll come back. Because if it was a small chance, we're willing to take it. We had nothing to lose. So that happened. We get back at like 9ish. I mean, like right before the park closes, like he said. And we go up to one lady first, who lies and said, "Oh, we're at a 2-hour hold right now because the ride got shut down."
That lady was rude. That first lady,
she was also very rude.
she did not want to be. She was like, yeah, no, like we're 2 hours. No, we can't do anything for you. Yep, 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then she pointed us to this lady under a tent who's like, if you're gonna get anywhere here, you're gonna go there.
Yeah, no. So then we go to the guy that's next to her because he seems nice, and we're like, hey, we're just wondering like if you could let us on strike, and that guy directs us to this like that customer relations person, and then we go to the customer
Who
relations
said the same thing,
person.
like-
She says we can't do anything, and so we're out here thinking, okay, like we've done everything we could, so we're just sitting outside the ride. And my sister just says, like, you know what? I just want to wait till the park closes and see what happens. So we're literally
Like,
just sitting
because we
outside
have
this
nothing
ride.
to do. So we literally like sit on the curb, like right in front of the entrance of the ride. I'm like, I just want to see like who's going in with a queue versus who's just going in because.
Yeah, and there were, let me be clear, there were other people waiting like we were. Like, we
Yeah.
were definitely not the only ones. So that brings me to, we see this girl talking to the guy that we had been talking to see if he could get us on the ride, and she walks back to her group of friends. Mind you, her group that she was at Disney with was like 6 girls, which, okay, whatever. And we're hearing them talking. She's like, well, I tried. Do any of you other girls want to try? This other girl from that same group comes up to the guy and is talking to him, and basically she was able to get her whole group of friends on the ride.
All 6
And-
people.
And mind you, I only went with my sister. Like
we're watching all of this happen. Like we're basically watching both of us get declined, the 2 of us, and then 6 people go in.
And then my sister is like, Issa, let's go. Like, whatever. I was pissed because I'm like, oh, no. Now we can actually do something. Like, now I actually have shit against it. And just to confirm, before I went up to the guy to, like, give him a piece of my mind,
we asked her.
I asked the girl, I was like, hey, I just want to know, because before I make myself look like a fool, are you guys in the virtual cube? She laughs, says, no. I was like, oh, okay,
yeah,
great.
I literally was like, did you guys just get in with it? Like, did you guys have a virtual queue? Just get in? She's like, no, haha. And she went in. I was like,
and so I was pissed. I was like, you don't, because my sister was like, okay, I'm not saying anything. I was like, fine, I'll say something. So I go up to this guy, and unfortunately, I had to be a bitch. Like, no other way to put it.
And also, I didn't want to say anything because the rest of the day, I was the one handling all the fucking customer relations. And
because you told me, you're like, don't say anything. Let me take care of it.
Yeah, because I won't.
So I was like, let me take care of it. So I go up to this guy, and I'm like, hey, so long story short, we just talked to that party of 6 who you just told a party of 2 that we can't get on, but clearly they can get on. So I'm asking you now, if they can get on, as a party of 6, is there any way that you can have room for the 2 of us? And the guy was like, please scan your tickets. I felt bad.
No, he was like,
but
we
at
just,
the same time,
I think you were more aggressive than that. You're like, we just saw you put 6 people on, and like, and you won't let us in, and we're 2, and they weren't even on the queue. And then he was like, scan your tickets, and then we got to go on the ride. And the kicker of the whole thing was that we only waited 25 minutes.
Yeah,
I
put
was
a
not a 2-hour
stopwatch to
wait.
see. And they just wanted to go home. It was literally less than 30 minutes. And it was less than 30 minutes. And they just, like, he was just pushing my buttons. I'm like, okay, well, clearly this whole, we don't have room 2-hour wait is bullshit. Like, I literally just caught you, like, bending the rules for someone else. So clearly you have some kind of control over it. But yeah, we went on Guardians, and it was a great
We were
day.
able to go on the ride, and it was super fun. It was like the last thing we did. Then we proceeded to get lost on the monorail. Sorry, it's our cat. But proceeded to get lost on the monorail, and that was not fun. We rode literally the same monorail like 2 or 3 times because we thought it was going to eventually take us to Magic Kingdom, and it didn't. It just kept taking us everywhere but Magic Kingdom. So I think to conclude the podcast, I guess we can ask maybe like 2 of these. We were going to do a who's most likely to. And these are the questions I have. Who's most likely between the 2 of us to go viral for something embarrassing?
You.
I feel like it's me.
It's you.
Yeah. I'll leave it at that. Okay, the second one is who's more likely to get kicked out of a public space? I think it'd be Isa.
But for what? Because I would never, like, let's be very clear. I don't think I would ever, like, get drunk in public or, like, act indecent. I think
you would cause a scene.
If I were to get, like, kicked out of somewhere, it would be because someone who I don't know, like, verbally assaulted me or, like, said some shit that I'm like, oh, well, I'm not gonna let this stand. I would cause a scene. I would yell, I would scream, whatever. Or, I will say, if someone lays their hands on me...
Yeah. I mean, same for me, too, but I feel like you're just more likely to.
Yeah.
Okay. The third one is who's most likely to laugh at the worst possible time? I think it's me.
The thing is, you don't take anything seriously. Which, look, I like to think I don't either, but she's definitely more lighthearted about things than I am. Like, sometimes it's time to get serious, and she makes jokes about, like...
And I also am the type of person to laugh when I get nervous. So it's like, if I am nervous about something, I start laughing, and it's usually at the worst possible time. So, yeah, I think it would be me.
Right.
Fourth one is, who's most likely to get lost in their own hometown? Issa.
I've been driving less time
It don't
than
have
you.
nothing to do with getting lost. Between the 2 of us, I'm way better with direction.
What makes you say that? Like, when have I...
You need the GPS for so many things.
No.
Yeah!
Places I always go, like, I know how to get to work. I know how to get to, like, all my friends' house. I know how to get to my dad's house, my grandma's house, the mall. Like,
Dude,
if I've never been there before, I
you've
haven't
evolved then.
I
because
haven't been driving. Like, I haven't even been driving for a whole year.
the question is, who's most likely to get lost in their own hometown? Most likely to be you. Like, I know how to get to more places. Okay.
Mm.
Fifth one is, who's most likely to become a millionaire? It'd be me. You actually think it would be you?
Yeah.
Or are you just saying that to spite me?
No, I think it'd be me.
I actually think it'd be me.
I mean, I think it depends. Like, I don't know. Right now,
Okay, let me put it this way. Who's most likely to become a millionaire for different things? I could see it being you or me, but I feel like in general, in my opinion, who's most likely to be a millionaire in general would be me. But I do think that the reasoning behind becoming a millionaire would vary.
Yeah.
So, why do you think you actually want to be a millionaire, or you?
Who doesn't want to be a millionaire? That's a stupid question.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people. Okay, I equate the want with the action to actually
My
make
thing
it
is
happen.
like, especially depending on what you get, what you become wealthy for. I don't know. Like, I could see myself becoming like very wealthy for doing like what I currently plan to go to school for.
Which
Emphasis
is what?
on currently, which is business management and international business.
So how would you get wealthy there?
No, like, I can't like say the specifics because I don't know. I just like feel like there's a lot of room to become like very wealthy in that field, especially because it's such a like, you can do a lot with that degree in terms of like, it's very broad. So like, there's just a lot of options post college for like what you can do with that degree, and I feel like a lot of the options can lead to very wealthy careers. I think definitely you are more likely to become a millionaire for something like influencer related. I don't really like any of that stuff or do any of that stuff myself, but I know you do, and it's something you like to do.
If I ever become a millionaire, I'll play this back for y'all.
What if we're both millionaires?
Yeah, if we're both, we'll rewind the tape. And then the last thing before we conclude was, who's most likely to become famous and for what? I also think it would be me.
That, I think it would be you too.
And I think the for what, well, I'm going to tell you what I want it to be. I want to be famous. I want to be known. If I get famous, I would like to be known for being motivational or being like giving educational advice to people. Like, I would want to be known for either making people laugh, so like a comedian, or I want to be known for motivational speaking and public speaking and things like that. What do you think that my for what would be? It's like, you already said I would be the most likely one to be famous, but
I think it would just be like regular influencing, to be honest. If you were to become famous, like, you're really good, and this is just me not having the interest in it, like, you're really good at staying on trend with things. Like, a lot of the things you like are what is very popular right now. And so like, if you become like a really popular influencer and you're like, quote unquote, a trendsetter or whatever, like, people follow you, people want to be like you.
I want to be a trendsetter.
But like,
so far I'm not a trendsetter. I just follow trends. I ain't said no trend so far. Maybe this will be my trend. Drink more vitamin C.
Yeah. Drink your orange juice.
Well, I think that with that being said, we will conclude this episode of the Vitamin C Show. Thank you for tuning in to another one, and we will see you guys next Wednesday. Adios. Why do you always get blanky? I'm getting no blanky. Okay. All right. Please work.
Rad. He almost ruined it though.
Yeah, like wanting to type on the damn keyboard. He gets curious about it when it's important, but if it's just sitting there, he does not curious about it. Would you meow for us? Meow. Come on. on. Come on.
You have to hold his tail for him to meow.
Like, that's going on the bloopers.